Hi, this is Paul Gerst from the Balanced Path Wellness Center, and it's time for another segment of On Your Natural Health. Today, I want to talk about cognitive dissonance and its effect in like how it affects healthcare. So, first of all, I want to point out what probably seems obvious to most of us is that we live in a very politicized time. And I think that's because of the um, polarization that you see. Basically, we're not we're not given multiple uh, sides or potential truths to work over. We're really given two. So 300 and whatever we are now, 370 million of us in the United States, um, being served by two parties that really are less different than each other than you know than they like us to think. Um, and so a divided country, when it creates a certain ability to be lazy in our thinking. Now I'm setting this up. This is I want you to understand that um, I'm giving an example of like where cognitive dissonance comes from and why it's so ingrained in our culture, and that's why I'm talking about the political environment. Um, Really, in politics, they're like the way it's set up. There is no right or wrong. You just have to choose a side, and unless you don't. And so, the idea that if we're really serving the needs, if we're really serving the people of this country, we would have multiple parties, we would have multiple platforms, and all politicians would define themselves based on their personal beliefs as well as that of their party. And so what we're really seeing now is parties that are serving corporations, but they have these shiny penny issues that get us all rankled and angry with each other. And but the bottom line is you should always ask, if you really want to know the truth, you have to ask what is really being done. So if somebody's making a big fuss about something, what are they doing about it? And so a shiny penny issue is basically something, say, like abortion or, and again, I don't mean to minimize these issues. They're important issues for some people, but for many people. But but I call them shiny penny issues because if somebody's just using it to incite fear and anger and say, well, gosh, if you don't vote for me, that's what that person's going to do, and that's really going to upset you because that goes against what you believe. So this whole cognitive dissonance thing, so it allows for um, us to hear words that somebody says, and well, that's not the words that my side uses, so they're against me. I'm not for them. And it reduces the need or ability to use critical thinking skills. You see far less reason, and what happens is we don't have the ability to have discourse. There's no if you have a discussion with somebody, if you disagree, they're wrong, you're right, and that's just the way our culture's become. And it's there's a really pathetic uh, it's a really pathetic nature to have as a culture. It's lazy, it's foolish, it's ignorant. We need to be better, and so I am now connecting this now to the health environment, and you see people doing the same thing with health. And so without knowing facts, without weighing facts, without reading studies, people will just jump on anything that doesn't align with their current beliefs, and they'll railroad it. So I would hope that you learn to read multiple sources, that you learn to think for yourself, and if something doesn't ring true with it, be willing to have discussions and listen. And so this has been Paul Gerst with another episode of On Your Natural Health, and this will be continued. Thank you for listening.